Nearly 3 years ago, adventurer Mikah Meyer packed up his van and set forth on a life-changing journey through every national park, all in honor of his late father. 2018 was his biggest year yet, trekking through the Arctic Circle of Alaska across 77 days and 23 sites. Mikah is on the final stretch of his tour with just 3 months before completing all 418 national parks all in one trip. It's so great to have you back with us here.
It's great to be here.
Good Morning Washington. It's like for our viewers at home, they've been following your journey since back in 2006, which was your first time here. Now, there were some challenges of going to Alaska because these were not places that you were going to be able to go in your van.
No, it's crazy. So Alaska has 23 National Park Service sites, and of those, only 6 could be reached with my van. So that means the other 17 required bush planes, backcountry tours, boat tours. It was the most stressful, most difficult summer and time of this entire journey.
And so we're looking at some video and pictures of this right now.
Yeah.
What was it like when you finally got to these destinations?
So I call Alaska national parks on steroids because whether it's just the size of the mountains, you know, Denali is there, it's North America's highest mountain, to just accessing them is so difficult compared to any other National Park Service site. So getting there, it was sort of this like big stress ball, and then after each one, it was a little sigh of relief until I finally had all 23 done.
So some of these flights cost almost $2,000. Is that correct? And you did all the funding on your own?
I did. So in January of 2018, I did my only like big crowdfunding push, and I had an anonymous donor offer to match up to $10,000 in donations. So fortunately, people following me on social media, everybody donated a little bit here and there, and it happened.
Okay, so that's incredible. These pictures are amazing. What has it been like to, almost complete this now? So what's left?
Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking about 2019 for 5 years because of the 2 years I spent planning and then executing this. And so when that clock turned to the new year, it was just this kind of overwhelming moment to realize I'm here, I'm in the final stretch. Now is the moment, but also like graduating high school or college, like then what,
So what is next?
Yeah, I have another big epic road trip that I'm working on. I'm trying to find a sponsor for it because it's a lot harder to fundraise. It's a much shorter trip.
Right.
So I'm hoping that a sponsor comes through and I can do this next project.
Okay, now I've got some questions about the van. So we see it there.
Yeah.
Like, is there a full bed in there? What is all in there?
There is. So there's a queen size bed naturally.
Uh-huh.
And I built it all up so that I could live out of it for 3 years. And after 3 years, I'm going to be selling Vanny McVanface because he is an adventure vehicle in his heart. And so I'm hoping somebody else out there, maybe here in the DC area, wants to keep going on adventures with him because my next one will need to be in a car.
All right, and real quickly, I want to talk about the lowlights of traveling across to all these beautiful national parks. And you said it can get very lonely.
Yeah, super lonely being on the road by myself. I'm most looking forward to this trip being done so I can go on a second date because I'm constantly in new cities, meeting people for maybe 10 minutes, 5 minutes, but it's just always shuffling. And so coming back to the DC area has been great because I've got to spend Christmas with my family and just see friends and all that.
Well, why did you not ever take anybody with you? You wanted to do this journey on your own. Because I'm like, I would have, back in 2016 when you were first here, I would have left with you.
Yeah, well actually, so I did start this trip with someone. I was dating someone in the DC area.
Really?
He came along for the first year, but living in a van together, I challenge a married couple to do it. And that's one of the ways when people say, well, this is a 3-year vacation, right? I'm like, you don't break up with your significant other on vacation, I hope.
Right.
So it really has been a stressful journey, much more like a job than a vacation, but also an incredibly fulfilling trip and one that's allowed me to honor my dad and the lessons I've learned from his passing and really be a role model for the LGBT community in ways that did not exist before this journey started.
And let's talk about that. It's so important. I grew up in a Christian household. I came out when I was 18 years old. There is that fear of I can't be gay and be in the church. It just doesn't exist. You're changing that.
Yeah, so I actually got to be on the Today Show with George Bush's daughter, Jenna Bush, this past spring. On Easter week, they aired this piece talking about how really the only way that this journey has survived is I started singing at churches. I used to be a professional singer at Washington, D.C.'s National Cathedral, and I was running out of money on this trip, so I started singing for my supper at churches. And America's Christians were most of the donations that have allowed a gay man to about finish setting a world record. So if there's anything that's breaking stereotypes, that's it.
And you've had people come up to you and say, thank you for saying this. I have a family member. There's no one. Sometimes you're going to churches where they've never even spoken about LGBTQ issues.
Totally. I mean, I can't tell you the number of people that have come and cried, literally on my shoulder, sharing their stories afterwards. And after the Today Show piece, I get on average 3 to 5 messages per day from teenagers, from retirees, from people who say, I've never seen myself, and now I think I can live openly because of seeing you.
That's
so
wonderful.
It's amazing.
It's worth it all, isn't it?
It makes the cold nights in Vanny totally worth it.
All right, where can people find out, follow your journey?
Yeah.
And make donations
Yes.
as well. He's doing this all on his own, you guys.
I've got a few months to go. I'm headed out to Guam. Hopefully the park will be open by the time I fly halfway around the world. But people can go to mikahmeyer.com, and there they can find all my social medias. They can follow along. And April 29th, 2019, I'm finishing the journey here in D.C. We're all going to start at 11 a.m., 3 years to the minute when I started at the Washington Monument. We're going to put our hands on it. And then as a community, because this is not an I moment, it's a we moment, everyone who helped make this possible, we're going to walk to the Lincoln Memorial, which will be my final 418th park.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so you're invited. Come on.
Well, I will be there. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Always wonderful to see you. Thank you.